Hey guys, Dr. Epic here, back with some more Medigel. Today I wanted to talk about the take that the Rachni should return as enemies in Mass Effect 4. We all know the Rachni. They are an insect-like species with a fast reproduction rate, high intelligence, and seemingly magical quantum abilities. Like communication across cosmic distances, or at least shorter distances, enabling them to somehow stimulate a dead body's nervous system enough to make it form verbal sentences and move around, despite not making physical contact with his body. But first, thank you for clicking. They have a potential for reaching a very dangerous power level on a galactic scale, seeing as they once almost eradicated all galactic civilization in Citadel space. However, the Krogan managed to tip the scales in favor of their perceived extinction. Same with the Protheans of the older days, who also drove the Rachni to near extinction. Now, seeing as Mass Effect has always had really upscaled powerful enemies, the Rachni would quite a bit on the way satisfy this tradition. However, seeing as the Protheans and even the Galactic Society at separate points in time managed to basically eradicate them, save for a few eggs allowing the Rachni to spread once more, man, the Rachni really are like herpes, aren't they? Once you get them, can't get rid of them. Seeing as they have been defeated at least 2 confirmed times before, I don't see them as nearly as threatening as the Reapers or even the Geth or Collectors. I don't see them powerful enough to be a main isolated villain for the next game. That said, as side villains in conjunction with other villains like perhaps the Geth or even Ket, maybe this could become a dangerous cabal akin to maybe Halo's Covenant. Even more so if you sprinkle in a connection to, let's say, the Dark Energy plot or some puppet master's wish to recreate a Reaper or to rebuild the Scourge weapon from Andromeda. The Rachni could become cool in the role as renewed villains, seeing as they have always been a major horror element and terrifying species with Lovecraftian abilities. We have never seen the Rachni at their peak. Who knows, they might even be more terrifying and have more horrifying abilities and forms that we haven't seen yet. Just look at the movie The Mist and tell me that insects aren't scary and nasty. The biggest problem with the Rachni returning as villains is related to their motive and their opportunity, not their means. As for their motive, this would naturally vary depending on Shepard's choices in the OG trilogy. This alone makes it difficult to write them in as satisfying villains without ruining a lot of people's original experiences and making forced canon decisions. Basically making decisions for you in order to write an easier story for the writers. You can, throughout the games, save or kill the Rachni Queen, in, spoiler alert, both Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 3. In the best case scenario, you save her in both games, earning you a grateful and independent ally in the Rachni. Why would she or her offspring wage war on the galaxy and its occupants, if you're the reason why they still exist? The Rachni would have to acknowledge that they deserve their extinction in the Rachni War from the Krogan, since the Rachni apparently were all indoctrinated and would stop at nothing but the destruction of the enemies of the Reapers. So it wouldn't make much sense for them to turn on the galactic community any more than the Turians or Drell or Vorcha. In the worst case scenario, the Rachni are killed in Mass Effect 1 and their corrupted, indoctrinated husk in Mass Effect 3 is put down for good, save for some indoctrinated warrior husks. But these are likely killed in the Destroy ending. In this case, it would be hard to preserve suspension of disbelief, much like the Flood reveal in Halo Wars 2. Spoiler alert, I guess. If you were to just say, well, hey guys, we found another egg with a queen in it.
Bruh. What's so important?
In either scenario though, you could always make the case that some indoctrinated individual Rachni survived and for some reason is still motivated to kill everyone. Or better yet, you could argue that the Rachni aren't over the fact that everyone keeps bombing them into extinction and now they want revenge while the galaxy is weak and reeling from the Reaper War. This would make the most sense, but it would be at odds with what vibes you get from the Rachni Queen in all of the games, even from the speaker on Ilium in Mass Effect 2. The Rachni have always struck me as territorial, neutral species at their core, so I don't think their natural instinct is expansion. But of course, who knows what life's harsh realities could force someone to do, especially with such a rapid birth rate. So in summation, I find it hard to see a good motive for the Rachni to destroy the world, however cool BioWare could make it look like in the script. As for the final problem, this relates to opportunity. While yes, the galaxy is reeling at the end of Mass Effect 3 from a massive war, and yes, the Rachni reproduce very quickly according to all available lore, and yes, they thrive on toxic worlds, which after the Reaper War likely have been increased in number, due to a lot of nuclear fallout likely and other unsavory elements of war, meaning that the galaxy should be ripe for expansion for anyone who can do it. Still, we don't know exactly how fast the Rachni reproduce, and at the end of Mass Effect 3, no matter your choices, unindoctrinated Rachni should be very few in number, and I find it really hard to imagine them reaching Rachni war size. In opposition to the rest of the galaxy, I think their advantages would drown out. This actually reminds me of something that keeps coming back to me as a potential idea for the villains of Mass Effect 4. Essentially, a picture of conglomeration like the Covenant from Halo, with all the hostile species of Mass Effect uniting to form some malevolent alliance, ranging from Rachni to resurrected Protheans, Leviathans, etc. But as for the Rachni alone, I think that would be very hard to make a good story out of, in regards to their opportunity for seizing the villain mantle left by the Reapers. In summation, in regards to motive, means and opportunity, I don't think Rachni should return as villains. Certainly not as the main villains alone. That said, BioWare has, through time, shown their abilities to write good stories, so we should wait and see if it's good, of course. What do you think though? Do you think that the Rachni should return as villains? Why? Let me know below or hit me up on the extranet. Like if cool, dislike if cringe. Dr. Epic, signing out.
I thought the collectors kept to themselves.
They usually work through intermediaries, like slavers or hired mercenaries. If they're involved with the Reapers somehow, it could explain what happened to the colonies.
The Collectors have advanced technology. They could have a weapon that disables an entire settlement at once.
Holy crap! You are creepy as shit.
The Seeker swarms.